information they gave us, and another thing about babysitting. But okay, so how's everybody feeling? Are we getting all inspired? Are we motivated? Are we okay? I think we're gonna pivot and we are just going to continue on with our panelists, and then at the end we'll have our networking and food and drinks and everything. So hope that's okay with you guys. Our next panel is an exciting one. It's going to be our social media and marketing and real estate panel. It's going to be moderated by our past president, Garrett Gannon.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming. Okay, let's get started. Marketing and social media panel. First up, Amanda Elfison. Roland Osage. Ellie Ridge. Daniel Bono. Come on up. All right, let's keep moving along. So, my name is Garrett, and these are our panelists. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in real estate. And you can start, yes.
Hi. I got into real estate kind of accidentally too. I did hair for 12 years, ran a business, had a salon, had an injury, panicked. I was like, what am I ever gonna do by my hands? I can't use my hands. I was like, well, both my grandparents were realtors. I guess I'll give it a shot. So I did. And boop, boop, boop on Craigslist back in the day, and ended up at Keller Williams. And I went all in. I had a reserve for about 6 months of money to make this work, and I went and hit the pavement hard. I made a list of everybody that I knew, and having like a hair clientele helped. I had about like 530 people in that spreadsheet. I called about 10 to 20 people a day, just letting them know I'm in real estate. I ended up selling 17 homes my first year in real estate, but it took me 6 months, to sell the first one, and the first closing I ever had, I had $20 in my bank account. I had to buy their closing gift on a credit card, and it's been all uphill since there. But and I had to look back, and so that's how I got into real estate.
Yeah, my name's Roland Osage. I'm born and raised here in the East Bay area. I got started because I actually did a flip my first year. I got licensed to understand everything better because I was so green, I didn't know a single thing. So I thought that getting licensed would help me understand the terminology and everything, and it didn't, because you have to work in this business to kind of understand it, at least from my experience and how I learned. So yeah, been in business for 7 years, did a flip, got my license, helped a friend buy, and it's just been off to the races since.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I became a realtor because I got laid off. I worked in tech, so it was out of desperation. I worked in tech for my first career, and then there was, maybe some of you know about these many layoffs that kind of rocked the tech world about 1.5 years ago. And my mom is an agent. We work in partnership together, and for a long time, since I was in college, she was like, join me, be an agent with me, and I was like, gross, never, I'm gonna get a real job. And then I got laid off. I didn't have a real job, and I was studying for my test. I was nannying. I was like, I'm 27 years old. I'm nannying just like I did in college for someone who didn't get laid off from my company, and studying to be an agent. And then everything kind of changed when I really started transacting, and it's been I've had my license for a little over a year now. It's been a great year. It was a really hard, long, hard first winter, but things have turned around. So, yeah.
So I'm Daniel Kodum. I'm with Deco Technology. I'm probably an oddball among all the panelists. I'm not a realtor. I have a marketing agency I've had for 15 years. I work and support realtors and brokers. I've had dozens of realtors or brokers where we've done marketing for. I've had my business for 15 years, and we support them anything from marketing consultations to actually being their entire marketing department, where we do their print, their social media, their SEO, their website. So I'm kind of a little bit different, but I enjoy working with realtors. They're fun and exciting, and every transaction can be an adventure, as they say.
As you can tell, it's a social media panel, so if you're not following them, you should probably follow them. Each one is different, their approach is different, and their content is different, so there's always something to learn. And that means there's more than one way to do this. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. What social media platforms have been the most effective for a real estate business, and why?
For me, Instagram, and honestly, I think it's mostly just because my age. That's what I grew up using, you know, like all my parents are using Facebook more, the younger ones are using TikTok. I post on all of them, but kind of depends, but I create all my content in Instagram, post in Instagram. Meta goes to Facebook, so that helps. And then believe it or not, I actually get a ton of business from LinkedIn. I grew up in the Silicon Valley area. My parents were both involved in Silicon Valley, so I have a huge network of those people, so that could be why. But I get people sliding in my DMs on LinkedIn, and I post a few deals from LinkedIn, so that's what I get.
Yeah, so for me, it's Instagram and TikTok, both. I would say why was it the most effective, or why do you think?
Yeah,
it was?
which was the most effective and why?
Yeah, for me, TikTok's a little bit more effective than Instagram, but I would say the why is just purely comes down to consistency. You know, obviously we don't go and knock on one door, we don't go and, you know, do one cold call, wherever it is, it's multiple times. I can't speak for Ellie and Amanda for how like quick their trajectory was, but I had a lot of trial and error to get to where the last 2 years have been.
Maybe I could talk a little bit about what happened, just to share some
Yeah,
context.
please.
Okay, so I first started posting videos on Instagram when I was a brand new agent, and I really only use Instagram because, I don't know, maybe it's my age, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
like
just
Instagram.
what I'm comfortable using. And I felt like I didn't know who I was gonna be as an agent or why anyone would wanna work with me. But I felt like one way that I was a little bit different is that my family's in contracting, my dad's a contractor, and I know
That explains
a
a lot.
lot about it, and I'm into it. So I started, and I work primarily in Berkeley, and our housing stock is typically about 100 years old, so there's a ton of funky, fun stuff to talk about. And so I started making little videos that were explanatory about what I was observing, like on Broker's Tour and when I was showing property. And then some of them went really viral all at the same time. And so I got like about 200,000 followers over the last year, and it's a big source of business for me. Like probably I think open houses and Instagram are my largest sources of business. I mean, I just closed my largest transaction. It was 2.6 million, and it was from Instagram. And thank you. And I mean, it was exciting just because it was exciting. So that's why I share it. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
That seems pretty effective to me.
Well,
Which platform is most effective and why?
yeah,
And
yeah.
That's pretty apparent.
Yeah,
It's
and
most
so that's
effective.
what it is. And I think, honestly, why is because I think it's stuff that people are scared about when they're buying a house, and it's, I think when you're buying a house, maybe the largest barrier is these invisible costs, right? And so I think that was when I bought my first house before I was an agent. And so I hope that it's like real education that can break down the barrier for people, like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, and I'm not gonna be saddled with something horrible in a year and a half when my agent doesn't care about me anymore, so.
Yeah, I like that. Daniel, maybe your approach is different, yeah?
Well, I'm gonna take the question slightly differently just because of the role I play.
Yeah, of course.
So what I have found that agents that have found it most successful, and it kind of echoes what the panel here is saying, is one, consistency, but two, most important is be authentic to you. Each of these platforms can be good for a realtor, but if you're not comfortable or you can't be authentic to who you are, it's not gonna work for you. LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, they each have their own unique aspects. But if you're not comfortable being in front of a video camera yet, it's gonna take you a long learning curve to get there. And you're gonna find those platforms where video is most effective, gonna be that much harder. So find what you can be authentic and consistent with, and that's where you can find success.
My advice to that is everybody's already knows what you look like and sound like. It's only you who don't like what you look like and sound like, so just get on video. It's not hard. Press the red button and record. Do you create your own content, or do you have a professional team of videographers help you?
So, in the beginning I did a lot of trial and error, coming back to consistency. Now I hire it out. He's here for everywhere. And I have him come to events like this, open houses, just me, the day of the live. He edits all the videos for me, and I post those. But I post consistently myself every single day in my stories, and that's a lot of behind the scenes, and that's honestly where I get the most engagement, and that's where I actually convert the most. The stuff on your grid and the videos and the pretty videos are what validate you. So I get about 1/3 of my business from social media, and it's not like people sliding in my DMs every day saying that I want you to sell my house. It's meeting someone out, then them Googling you and seeing you, and it like just, you know, we were talking about this earlier, it just like validates you, and I've had that happen over and over again when I ask like, why do you choose to work with me? Because I do ask my clients that, so that I can do more of that. And then in my stories where I'm posting like the silly videos of my girls and what I'm doing and behind the scenes and me, you know, just standing on garbage cans to get through doors in my heels, like that's where I get the most engagement, and then that's where I talk and I make those conversations and I reply back to everyone, and I start just asking questions and open-ended questions to keep the conversation going, and that's where you build a community and the relationships, and at the end of the day, real estate is about relationships, whether you're social media, cold calling, farming, you're involved in your kid's school or your church, it's about relationships. So that's, I do a little bit of both.
Yeah, so I'd say about 50% of everything I do is me. The other 50% I have a videographer that I have on a monthly retainer, which works really well for me. Piggybacking off of Amanda, like the social media, pretty similar, probably about 40% of my business is from social media, but it's kind of like a perfect storm. It helps a lot with conversion. You know, we're in such a digital age, and people are searching, and then when they see you on all these different platforms, it's like, weird to describe, but it's like super locked in by the time that they get to that point of searchability. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, cool.
I think if you've seen my videos, it's clearly me by myself in a crawl space. Sometimes my mom films me. I like it that way because it's free and it's really easy. I don't edit my videos at all. They take me like 2 minutes to make and like 2 minutes to put captions on and post, and that's the only way I could consistently do it because it's easy.
For me, my podcasts and my videos on YouTube are me, but the ones on most of the other channels, I do have a team of video and social media people who do it.
So it seems very clear that the social media is video. So if you're not doing any video yet, you should probably start. Free is always the best. I think press the red button, talk to it, get it done, and then turn it off, post. That's a good start, right?
I've even taught my boyfriend how to do it. Anyone can do it.
How do you handle negative comments or feedback on social media?
Next. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, if someone is, listen, in the beginning I did. I got a lot, and mostly like family, people close, like, what are you doing? Like and I started on social media like back in the pandemic. I was stuck at home and pregnant with kids, and I wanted like a way to like reach people and didn't want to knock on doors pregnant. And in the beginning, everyone kind of like laughed, like, what are you doing? You're a professional and you're like, you know, showing you getting ready or behind the scenes, but they laugh until they see the business you're doing. And then they start following you and you're getting asked to speak on panels like this.
I will combat with negativity sometimes too, right? I like to just kind of like serve people back, because that's just me, it's like my nature, which actually helps. Like I find that deepens the relationship with the people who may have been on the fence with working with you, or like, you know, already in the back of their mind wanted to work with you. Like I had a comment the other day where it was, somebody said like, oh, anything in Oakland is a no for me in all caps. So I just commented back and said anything in Oakland is a yes for me in all caps. And like 200 people liked that comment, right? So I think going back to being yourself is super important when it comes to that. And yeah, just kind of like doing whatever you would do and sticking true to that.
Yeah, I think this is a good question. I mean, my mental well-being is paramount, so if I don't feel good, I don't read comments. But I do want to engage with people, and I truly do want to help educate people and for people to ask me questions and me be able to respond to them. I think there's a lot of great discourse in the comments that I would be missing if I just didn't read them flat out. So I'll read them up first. Comments are less nasty when you first post. And then when things start going really viral, you have to just cut it off because it starts to get super weird. But when it makes me feel bad, I mean, I'm talking about the trades, right? As a woman, like you can imagine the nasty stuff that people are writing to me. But I just think, like, who is this person? Like, I've never in my life left a mean comment on a stranger's video because I'm a nice, normal person with an engaging life of my own. That's a strange guy. And if it happened in real life,
Or
like,
a kid.
yeah, right? Like, if someone said that kind of thing to me in real life, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I would, like, call the police or, like, laugh at them. Like, they would be so bizarre, you know? And then I just, like, think about that person on their phone and, like saying that, and it kind of makes me feel better.
So for me, I like being a little bit of a smartass, so I'll sometimes make comments back. But a lot of times nowadays, I mean, years ago it was harder, but nowadays, I know who I am. I'm not bothered by it as much as I used to be. And it's a matter of just letting it roll off. I mean, similar to what Amanda said at the beginning, you just gotta let it go. You just be comfortable with who you are as a person, and it's not worth it.
Yeah, sometimes negative publicity is good publicity too. It creates, you play with the algorithm that makes the video go viral too. And yeah, sometimes they're kids and they're just trolling you. You just have to not take it personally. I'm curious, and the audience is probably curious. What does an anatomy of a new client look like? How do you see them see your post, see your content, and then turn into a client? And how does that come about? Organically, right?
Yeah, for me, my social media journey switched when I started viewing it as a community and not like just for like the likes and what outfit I'm wearing and all of that, because I do care about that stuff. But I really just come from a place of being able to help. Getting into real estate changed my life, obviously. $20 in my bank account we talked about, and coming from a place of just helping. And I post videos obviously about real estate, but when I'm talking to people in my DMs, it's never about real estate until it does cross that line, and then I'm like, oh, they can switch, and get them. But I'm asking about their kids. If they post that they went to a restaurant, I'm like, I love that restaurant. This is my favorite dish there. What's yours? I really just view it as, there's people who lead gen their golf community or their kids' school, and when I switched it to a community, that's when I started actually getting clients from it. And so it's easy to convert when you're not being super salesy on it.
When you say that, are you DMing them directly, or they're doing
Both, back and forth.
approaching you?
I'm like the queen of responding and commenting on people's stories. I respond to almost everyone's story. If they respond to me, I respond back, and I really always try to have open-ended
So
questions.
it's not even about your posts, it's about other people's
Yeah.
posts. You're engaging other
Oh,
people.
all the time, and just chatting it up with them because I'm staying top of mind, right? So if I'm like DMing you about the restaurant you went to or the new light show you went to or whatever, and we're messaging back and forth, and first thing in the morning, because I usually like go through my DMs in the morning before my kids wake up and I'm having my coffee, and you see my name on your phone, and my name says Amanda El Hassan, Realtor. I'm staying top of mind. So like later in that day, if someone they know is like talking about buying or selling, they're like, oh, I should connect you with my friend Amanda. It's literally just about staying top of mind and being that ding on their phone, and they see it. But also I'm just nosy, and I really do care what people are doing too.
So it's a modern text. You're not texting from the phone. You're doing it
Exactly.
directly from the,
Exactly.
relating to the story that they're posting.
Exactly.
So ultimately it's the content that converts, right? But if we're going like further into conversion, I have a direct link in both my bios on TikTok and Instagram, and both of those, like basically you guys would know direct me as LinkedIn, or Linktree, excuse me. And with those, like I put all my new listings at the top of that, and then before there's two little forms. It's I want to buy a home and I want to sell a home. When someone fills out those forms, it's like a 6 to 8 questionnaire, and when they fill it out, it goes directly to my CRM. Then the automation of a text and an email goes from there, and then it's all me picking it up from that point on. So same thing there, when someone fills out that form, 90% of the time they're responsive. The other 10% might take a little while, maybe they're not ready to go yet. But yeah, I think it just goes down to the content. If you crack like whatever it is with social media, reaching masses, like what Ellie's done, is just insane. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get lead flow, regardless of having a direct mailing. They're gonna hit the DMs. People all the time still hit the DMs versus filling out those forms. So if you can really focus on that and crack that, it's an amazing thing to happen.
I think just to talk about the mechanics of it, I mean, it's through email and Instagram DM that I really drive people to my email because I just want to do business on email and not on Instagram. In a broader sense, I mean, it's interesting to hear how other people think about it. I really treat Instagram like work. Like I log on, I post, I don't scroll, like I don't look at other people's stuff. I just want to like do my own thing, keep my blinders on. And I kind of like trust my own instinct, I guess. I don't know. I just know what I want to post, and so I just go and I do that, and then I don't look at a lot of other stuff. Because I don't want to copy people, and I don't want I don't want to be distracted. Like I just want to think about work. So I treat it like that. I think it allows it to not take over my life. And I think it allows me to do it every day because I just treat it as part of my workflow. I read my DMs and I read my message requests. I can do it really fast because I don't want to get like in the weeds because I get like a lot of message requests. But I just go through them really fast every day, and I can usually tell when someone's high intent or not. But I love social media leads. They're the best clients. Like, they already know me, they already like me, they trust me, we already have a rapport, like they know what my deal is. The way I am in my Instagram videos is how I am with my clients. So it's like if they've seen that, they know how it is to work with me. And those are the people who like become my friends, and like we have the best time together. So it's been a worthwhile investment of my time.
So if they're on Instagram and they probably send you a DM, and then do you just say, hey, here's my contact, what's yours, and then directly move it off to phone and email?
I pretty quickly move people into email because I'm not sharing comps like on DMs, you know. So like if someone's like, hey, I'm like curious about selling my house, I'm like, great, shoot me an email and we'll find a time to chat on the phone or what have you. Yeah.
Can I piggyback on that real quick?
Yeah.
So like you were talking about, like you post what you want to post, or like just like a feeling, which like I would call like a marketing brain. And I think that like anytime you have a feeling of you think something's gonna do well, or like this piece of content will do, like just trust that, like no matter how dicey it may be in our profession or whatever it is. So I feel like that's kind of what you were getting at a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
So again, I'll have to take this question a little differently because of my nature of my business. But I get a lot of DMs through social media for people who are working with our client, who want to know who's working with you, that you're working with one of our clients. So one of our clients, we do 100 times more work for our clients than our own, which is typically how my life works. And ends up, they go to my client, they DM them and say, hey, who does your social media? They get referred to us through DMs, and then we, again, use email, phone calls, etc. to make the connection and move to the business that way. Because a lot of times what happens is a lot of people in the real estate business, they don't know where to start, or they have trouble keeping up. We are the ones who help fill in the gap for the teams, etc. to help that.
Yeah, I think if you're starting out, it does seem overwhelming. Just pick one platform and just get started. If your thing is Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, I think those are 3 great places to start. Are there any tools or apps you recommend for managing social media, creating content, or analyzing performance?
Yeah, so as Ellie was saying, getting people emails. So Definitely. Like, if you look at the systems behind it, that's what we're doing, is like, for me, I wanna create it as a community and create friends and, you know, for as far as conversion, that really works for me. But I use Canva to create, I call it a lead magnet, so like for other realtors, I have like a 30-day social media guide. You can click the link in my bio, and it's literally a calendar with 30 days with a different idea of something to post, and then, or like my Move to Livermore guide or whatever. When people click on those, they have to enter in their email to get them. It automatically gets entered into my CRM. They get notified they're gonna be entered into my CRM. Now they're on my newsletter, and I'm dripping on them through email, because if the social media channels shut down, at the end of the day, all you have is your email and the people in your CRM. So there's tons of tools for that. I use, you know, Canva for that, StanStore to get it. I use Follow Up Boss for my CRM, and I use Zapier for them all to talk to each other, so I don't even have to go in and manually put who entered their email in. So those are the systems I use as far as like managing my email. But as you were saying, just to jump on that real quick about, you know, the conversion, and if you like something, do it, and if it's Instagram, do it. As you can see, like everything, we're all very, 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 very different in our approach, but it works. But figure out, I did a lot of trial and error to figure out what works, and then do it. So like, I only post about real estate, clothes, and my kids. And that's all I post about, and I'm consistent in that. Like, home tours work, videos about restaurants in your city work, funny videos work, you know, education works, but being consistent, like Ellie said again too, it's you, your clients know you. Just like when you door knock, you're not gonna go like, door knock one house in this neighborhood and then drive across town and door knock on another door and then maybe stop by a commercial building. Like, you're precise and intentional about it. So whatever you want to do, use it as a source of lead gen, and do that with social media.
That's great. So yeah, my assistant, I have her use Loomly to like cross post on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google My Business to just kind of keep up with everything and searchability. Analytics wise, I do, you know, always look at Instagram and TikTok. TikTok's analytics are insane compared to Instagram's. And for other platforms, I would say definitely get familiar with CapCut. If you don't use CapCut, I found that that's a lot easier and less like finicky than editing directly in Instagram and TikTok. And then there's a platform what was that?
No watermark.
No watermark. Another platform that I really, really love is Frame.io. That is like been a game changer for me for communicating with editors and overseas editors and videographers, because you can basically like request revisions like throughout the video. You can do timestamps from like long form to short form, and that's where all of my videos are stored, are in Frame.io.
I'm gonna be honest, this is making me feel like I'm really bad at social media. I don't use anything. I don't use anything. I post my videos myself. I cross-post them myself. I use CapCut to add captions. I think maybe what I can contribute to this conversation is, if you're not like into social media, it can still work for you. Like, I wasn't trying to go viral with my videos. Like, I don't look at my analytics. That's probably bad. I truly post just what I want to post, and like what I think will be useful to people. And that's kind of what guides me. But that actually has worked, you know. So sorry if that's not helpful.
No, what's wrong with that? You're the Turkish Olympic shooter. You're just a specialist.
Well, but maybe it's helpful because maybe this stuff sounds like overwhelming, or like if you're starting from scratch, it sounds like a lot. And like, I don't know. It would be helpful to just, for me to be honest and say like, I like backed into this. Like, it wasn't my goal or my intention, and like, it's been really actually.
But apparently
successful.
200,000 people like it.
Yeah, right. So maybe it's like, I think what has worked for me is like truly just trying to be helpful and like, and I think that's everybody's goal, you know, but like, sorry, I know that's everybody's goal, but like my point is.
You're just yourself. I think that's what
Yeah,
it comes down to.
yeah, and like I just wanna honestly like be a geek about what I'm into, and like that's what I use Instagram for, and like, yeah, and so
I
yeah.
think piggybacking on what she's trying to say, like, just post the video. Like, it's not, you don't, that's how we all started, and then it got to a point where we needed to, like, scale and like being in production, and I have a team, and there's, I have 2 kids at home under 3 years old. So like I was scaling it, I had to figure out systems, but just start posting if you want to use it as a source lead gen, and you will find your people, they'll follow you because they like you, right?
Sure, yeah, and also like you can be really simple and like not do anything, and that can also work too in its own way.
I mean, your authenticity is what drives you, and that's key in anyone's social media. But here's the thing, you may not know who your authentic self is. So the younger people, older people, they still don't know who they are. And a lot of times it takes time. Don't be afraid to experiment. This is marketing. Marketing is not black or white, there's a whole lot of shades of gray. I know this is the question you asked, but the tools you guys said are a lot of the tools I use. I sometimes add some stock videos because frankly, some of my clients don't take the time to video themselves. So I have to make up stuff to try to be as close to their authentic self. But take a moment, go today, take a video of yourself, post it. I guarantee you the world will not fall apart if it sucks. If you take nothing out of this today, do that. Because you will just grow. Next time you'll do another one. And find a trusted circle of people who will be truthful to you and say, hey, what do you think? Not the catty ones, the ones who will say, hey, well, it's good, but maybe this, or you could do better. But take an adventure, enjoy it.
All right, so this panel is marketing and social media. So we killed the social media part. Let's take it offline of it. It's not on here, okay? So marketing, what other stuff do you do, marketing-wise, that's non-social? I mean, we have to find ways to talk to people. What other ways do you talk to people?
Yeah, so, just going in
I
order.
know this is off script, you guys should get it.
I'll be the first every time, guys.
You're doing great, Amanda.
So I don't pay for leads, like I don't do Zillow leads, I don't do any of that. I do pay to advertise in like a small South Livermore magazine where I live. I grew up in the Peninsula, raised in San Francisco, or my 20s in San Francisco, moved out to Livermore 8 years ago for my husband, so I'm really trying to get more business where I live now. I have kids, but I do sell all over the Bay Area, and I'm just trying to reel it in more, so I started advertising in a magazine in Livermore. But as far as like other marketing tactics go, I really only do that, and I honestly, my like 3 sources of where I get my business from are social media, my database, like my people, and I do a weekly newsletter, and I used to do it myself, I pay somebody to do it now, it's an email marketing, and I proof everything, so it sounds like it's for me, and they're really short, really simple, easy read, like less than 2 swipes on your phone, so I do an email marketing every week, and then like I said, my business really comes from social media, my database, and then I do a lot with investors. And those are my 3 sources of business. So as far as marketing, that's really what I'm doing. But you can take it off social media. So that's why I really view it as a community. I have about like 1 to 2 coffees or lunches a week with just people, other lenders, other professionals, other clients. So even though I'm using social media to market, I'm taking it off social media and having that in-person, relationship.
Yeah, I do a bi-monthly newsletter as well, which honestly a lot of it is repurposed for my content, which makes things really, really easy. Big one for us this year has been Twilight open houses. Almost every single listing is getting a Twilight open houses. 100 flyers are being dropped to the neighbors to invite them. It's kind of a neighbors only type of thing. Always doing open houses, of course, and I'd say for like kind of more traditional marketing, that's about it for me.
I like social media because it's free, and I don't spend money on any other marketing, so that's been great. But I work a lot. I host open houses every weekend. That's like, to your point, like I'm fearful of over-indexing in one space and then being totally reliant on this weird company. So I try to build my business organically and in real life too. So just work a lot. Yeah.
So we have a full-scale digital marketing firm. So for realtors, we do social media. Newsletters are probably the second most thing. But the base of all that is that all our clients have their own website beyond just their broker's website, because then they can brand themselves to their individual's name. And the overarching thing to me is make sure you have a brand. It's clear within your social media, it's clear within newsletters, clear within, and brand is what you project. And even us being up here, when you're out there talking to people, you're projecting your brand. And if you're consistent and you're authentic, it's gonna come out, and that's critical. And then we do some ads, whether Google or Yelp, for some realtors as well.
Awesome, thank you everybody for, big round of applause for yourself.
Picture.
Mr. Bob.
Squeeze my satin thing, beautiful back of heads. All right, guys. All right, you guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. Awesome.
Thank you.
You guys got some good gems from that panel. I'd like to invite Emily and Russell back so they can do their raffle.